welcome to Sonia True Crime Podcast. This is a true story, so please listen with caution. This story, when I heard this story, at first I thought I wasn't hearing right. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what? So the story went that a woman was convicted of hiding 6 babies, the remains of babies, in a U-Haul storage locker. Did y'all hear that right? Because I thought I didn't even hear that right. I was like, what? Okay. So, the woman her name was Andrea. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so we're just going to call her Andrea. I'll spell the last name when I'm telling the story. Over the years of her life, she would get pregnant, have these babies, and somehow the babies die, right? But because she was so young, no one really knew. No one really investigated any of this. How they actually found out. So let's go into her life first. She was a young girl at the time. She kept having these babies. She kept having these babies, but somehow the babies wound up being dead. Here's what I didn't understand. So as I was listening to the story, when she got older, she had 8 kids. 8. That was the number of children she had. When they went to find her, they found her living a happy life with her 8 children. I forgot why they actually went in. Somehow they found out about this storage. Because I still was on the fact that she killed 6 little babies and put them in a U-Haul storage. I was still on that fact. Then, as her life went on, she had 8 other children and lived like none of this happened. Like, she acted like none of this had happened. So I just was sitting there like confused. Okay, the first one, I could understand. You know, she was young, so she probably was scared. Second one, I can't even give her the credit for that, because I didn't but to have 6 little babies and to kill them and to put them in a U-Haul storage, I don't know. I just don't know. I just didn't know how. That's what happened. The remains was found by a U-Haul worker in 2014 because Andrea had fell behind on her rental payment. So when they was, you know how when you fall behind on your rental payment, they start selling your stuff. So when they goes to sell the stuff, they find the decomposed babies in this bin. I didn't understand. Like, one of the babies, she wasn't even, it was more than 6 babies, but one of the babies, because it happened one of the babies was in New York. Like, somehow it happened in New York, so they couldn't prove what really happened to this baby, so they let her slide with that. It was just a very, very disturbing case. Like, very, very, I don't know, but somehow the court reduced her sentence. Like, I'm gonna let you hear this little clip that they talking about her sentence. So please listen. Please be advised. Please listen with cautious again.
The Winnipeg woman convicted of hiding the remains of 6 infants in a U-Haul storage locker has won her fight for a shorter sentence. The Manitoba Court of Appeal has reduced Andrea Giesbrecht's prison term by 5.5 years. And as CTV's Josh Crabb reports, her lawyer says the decision means she'll be released from custody.
It's been 2 years since Andrea Giesbrecht was found guilty of hiding the remains of 6 infants in a U-Haul storage locker. A ruling by the province's highest court means she'll walk free sooner than anticipated.
I think it's a tremendous decision. I think it justifies and verifies the fact that we trust our legal system.
In a written decision, the Manitoba Court of Appeal shortened Giesbrecht's July 2017 sentence from 8.5 to 3 years. Her lawyer, Greg Brodsky, says Giesbrecht's elated.
The bottom line is she wasn't convicted of interfering with the birth of any of these fetuses. She was convicted of concealing the birth. She can only be sentenced based on what she was charged with.
The infants' remains were discovered in Rubbermaid containers, pails, and bags in October 2014 after Giesbrecht failed to pay her rental fees for the locker. Medical experts testified during the trial the infants were likely born alive. Giesbrecht never took the stand to explain how they died or why she kept their remains. This is a deeply disturbing case. We will never know why these 6 little lights went dark due to the accused's appalling dishonesty, wrote Appeal Court Justice Chris Manella. However, just as the mighty are not above the law, the unpopular are not outside of its protections, even on facts as troubling as here. Giesbrecht's lawyer argued the trial judge made material errors and imposed an excessive sentence. The Court of Appeal agreed, ruling the original sentence assumed certain culpable actions by the accused of which she was never tried or convicted. A fair and principled application of the law requires that this accused be sentenced not for being criminally negligent in some way or committing culpable homicide. Rather, she can only be held accountable for repeated crimes of deceit in relation to the remains of several children. While such conduct is serious, it cannot warrant a sentence and stigma that accompanies a more serious offense. Giesbrecht was sentenced in July 2017 and was credited with 252 days of pretrial custody. Based on that and the length of her new sentence, Brodsky says Giesbrecht, who's serving her sentence out of province, will be released from custody.
It's an institution where the institution will have to make arrangements for her to be flown back to Winnipeg.
And standing by with more on this is CTV's Josh Crabb. So Josh, how did the appeal court decide on 3 years?
In the ruling, Justice Manella wrote that he maintained consecutive sentences, but ruled that Giesbrecht should be sentenced 6 months for each count. Now, the trial judge in the original sentence increased the sentence for counts 2 to 6 because of what he ruled as an increase in Giesbrecht's culpability. The Court of Appeal disagreed with that logic, calling it double punishment. Now, the court noted that Giesbrecht's new sentence is still well above the normal level for the typical offender of this offense.
So can this decision then be appealed by the Crown?
I reached out to the Crown for comment about that. A spokesperson says it is reviewing the case but can't comment any further at this time.
All right, thanks for this, Josh.
So y'all heard
the Winnipeg woman convicted.
Y'all heard the clip. I don't know. She was young, real young. So I don't really know how to feel about this case. Because she was a young girl having these babies. And it apparently was a scared young girl. And I don't know if... I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all can comment here at sv766752@gmail.com. Please give it a 5-star review on Speaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you see this podcast at. Please share. Please go to my website, http://podcasters.wordpress.com, www.wavill. Use promo code Sonia, www. Instacom 156. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can buy me a coffee. You can follow me at son.ia9795 Instagram, Sonia Santiago Twitter, Sonia Santiago Facebook, Sonia Santiago Pinterest, Sonia Santiago YouTube. You can also listen to my son's album and follow him Sounds on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your music at, and you can follow him on Sounds on Instagram. Thank you and have a blessed night.